you guys so much for welcoming me into your space. Thank you, Jeannie, for the amazing dessert as always. As Dawn said, my name is Selena, and thank you guys so much. I just want to thank you guys for allowing me to be here tonight. I'm a believer in Jesus Christ, and I am recovering from fear, people-pleasing, perfectionism, control, and believing that my value came from what I could do for others instead of who God says that I am. And so when Dawn asked me to speak tonight, it took me a while to put something together, because I'm like, I don't want to come here and say the same things that you guys have already heard. I don't want to come here and talk about things that you guys already know that you're going through. What I like to do is I like to talk about things that actually bring people to recovery, right? Because we're all here to try to figure out, how do I get out of this feeling? How do I get out of this mess? How do I finally get to that place of healing? And so for years, I only thought that recovery was for people struggling with drugs and alcohol. I thought that was it. Once I gave that up, then my life was going to be great, right? Unfortunately, I discovered other things that I was addicted to once I gave those things up. I discovered I was addicted to surviving. I was addicted to staying busy. I was addicted to fixing everyone else. I was addicted to proving my worth, and I was exhausted. Because I grew up experiencing things that no child should have ever experienced. So from age 6 to 17, I was sexually abused. Some of that abuse came from my youth pastor. So as a teenager and a young adult, I had to learn how to survive, right? I became independent. I became strong. I became resilient. I joined the Marine Corps because if you're gonna touch me, well, now I could kill you. People would tell me how strong I was, and I wore that like a badge of honor. And then when I joined the military, I experienced another trauma. I was forced by my leadership to have an abortion. At that point, I wasn't living anymore. I was simply surviving. Then I got out and I got married to an abuser. I decided to finally walk away from him, and that led me into homelessness. During that homelessness, my mother died. My father was deported and my brother got locked up. So now I'm a single mom, and then the grief started setting in. Loss after loss came in. I am waking up drinking a beer because that is what is going to help me recover to go through this day. I lost my mom. I lost every family member. And then when my brother finally came home and I started going to church again and everything started being perfect, my brother was murdered. At that point, I became so accustomed to pain that I didn't even know what life looked like anymore. And I want to tell you that my brother was murdered in 2024, and we're in 2026. Another side note, I have to go to his trial in September, so that's something I'm praying God to take me through. But I thought that surviving was who I was. And maybe some of you guys understand that, living in survival mode, right? You become so familiar with dysfunction that peace feels uncomfortable. I finally found a man who loves me, accepts me for who I am, and till this day, I'm still asking him, do you love me? You still love me? You still love me? Even though I messed up, I'm sorry. And that's just because I'm still trying to get used to being loved. I was addicted to survival, not my substances. And survival mode was what was killing me. But what changed wasn't something super dramatic. And God didn't remove every problem overnight. Instead, he began exposing the lies that I believed. And so one of the lies I believed was, if I can just help everyone else, then I'll be okay. If I stay busy enough, I won't have to feel my pain. And another lie, the biggest lie, was, if I'm strong enough, I won't need anybody else. God began teaching me something different. Strength isn't pretending that you're okay. Strength is being honest when you're not. Healing started when I stopped asking, how do I get over this? And I started asking, God, how do you walk me through this? There's a difference. One is rushing, and the other is complete surrender. And recovery is often surrender repeated over and over and over and over again. And that's something that is okay with God, because recovery is therapy. Recovery is prayer. Recovery is boundaries. Recovery is grieving. Recovery looks like admitting I could not cover everything else. I can't carry everything. Recovery looks like forgiving people who never even apologized to me. Recovery looked like learning that forgiveness doesn't mean you get to access my life. Some days I felt strong, like today. But yesterday I was crying because I was stressed out. And I said, you know what? I need a mental health day. Some days I questioned everything. God, if you love me, how come you took everyone from my family away from me? If you love me, how could you allow a youth pastor to do something like that to me? But God had to let me know that he never left me. One of the biggest lessons that I learned is that healing does not mean that the scars disappear. Healing means that scars stop controlling your life. I still miss my mom. I still miss my brother. I miss my father. I can't even go visit him because he's in a country that was banned by Trump. Different story, different day. I still have difficult days and I still have moments where fear tries to creep back in. But I can tell you that fear is no longer driving. Jesus is. That's recovery, not perfection, progress. Where I am today, I'm married to a man who loves God and loves me. I became a homeowner a year after my brother was murdered with $0 because the money that I spent had to go to his funeral. I'm raising my beautiful 12-year-old daughter. I lead a women's ministry. I found a ministry even outside of that where I can help other women heal from grief, trauma, and church hurt. And here's what I want everybody to hear from all of this, is that none of those things happened because I finally got everything together. No, not at all. They happened because God met me in the middle of my brokenness. A lot of times we're in these tough situations and we want God to take us out, but God is going to meet you in the lion's den. The miracle isn't that my life became perfect because there's no such thing. The miracle is that God taught me I was worthy of love before my life looked healed. I don't know everybody's story, but I know this. You don't have to stay where you are. Your hurt is real. Your struggle is real. Your pain, very real. But it's not the end of your story. Maybe you're here tonight carrying shame, grief, addiction, depression, anxiety, anger, probably a whole lot of anger. But maybe you're carrying a secret you never even told anybody. God is not intimidated by your brokenness. He's not even intimidated if you don't trust him. He's not intimidated if you don't even believe in him. He is still there for you. One of my favorite verses is Romans 8:28. And we know that in all good things, God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. He didn't say some things, all things. That includes the abuse. That includes the grief. That includes the mistakes. That includes the heartbreak, the losses, the shame. God doesn't waste any of it. So tonight, if you're tired of surviving, I want you to know that there is another way. There's healing. There's hope. There is freedom. And there's a God who is willing to walk every step of that journey with you. I want to thank you guys for letting me share, but I do want to ask just one question. How many of you are tired of surviving? You could just raise your hand for me. Are we tired of surviving? Me too. That's why I'm still in recovery. Not because I'm broken beyond repair, but because every day I am learning to trust God more than my survival instincts. A lot of people ask me all the time, Selena, how do you deal with this? How do you get through it? I could easily be like, God. But they're like, no, really. I just take it one day at a time. If I can make it to the end of the day, then that means I can make it to tomorrow. And the next day, and the next day, and the next day. And then you look back and you almost forget what you went through, but then you're reminded every single time that you just look in the mirror. Because no matter what, God is going to rewrite your story. Whatever you went through in your past life is not a mistake. God don't make mistakes. There are no such thing as coincidences. So even the mistakes that you made in your life, God is already preparing a way for those mistakes to be used to help somebody. The one thing that I had to be okay with when God told me what I went through was that it had nothing to do with me. I said, how dare you? What you mean I went through all of that and it is not about me? Because it's not. Sometimes we are the strong people. Sometimes our strength is for others. I don't know if anything that I said tonight resonated with anybody here, but maybe there's one person that heard something and is finally saying, you know what? I'm ready. And that's what a Celebrate Recovery is here for you for. Celebrate Recovery is doing amazing. I was just sitting down, watching everything, meeting with people. You guys are so organized. Even the songs, everything was on point. You guys are doing amazing work here. And even the people that are just coming, this is amazing. The fact that you just showed up, the fact that you said yes to recovery, that is huge. There are many people who are running away from recovery, running away from their healing and thinking that that cycle is going to bring them something. But you're starting now and you're going to break that cycle. So thank you all so much for having me tonight. I really appreciate it.